Cherie, of course, this comes from your own personal experience of being a very successful barrister and QC, and you started at a time where there was not a lot of gender equality. Do you see progress now?
There's absolutely, of course, there is progress. I think we know, no one could say that the position of women in the world in 2020 is worse than it was in 1920, but that's just not what is surprising, I think, is that we still haven't achieved the equality that maybe when I was a young barrister in the 70s, starting out, doing a lot of equality work, that I would have wished for. And so you know that the World Economic Forum published the gender gap reporting every year. Last year, the 2019 report shows that the gender gap is closing. The difference between men and women is like 90% women, 100% men in relation to access to education opportunities, access to health opportunities. But when you looked at political opportunities, still very low, under 30%. And when you looked at women's economic opportunities, it was the only figure that had got worse between 2018 and 2019. And so they estimated in 2019 it would take 255 years before men and women get equal access to economic opportunities, equal participation in the economy, which, as I say, was actually 57 years worse than the previous year. So yes, of course, we've made progress. And I really do believe that technology can really help make that difference, because it allows us to give the women the thing that they often lack in relation to their businesses: access to finance, access to information, access to markets, and access to a network of support that our mentoring platform gives them.
Cherie, of course, you spent 10 years at number 10 Downing Street when, of course, Tony was Prime Minister there, and navigating a lot of the different pressures, and you're under the spotlight a lot. You've seen the pressures. How do you feel that Boris as Prime Minister is coping?
I don't think I can possibly comment on how Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, is coping. For everyone at this time, all leaders of all countries, there are very difficult decisions to be made and choices to be made. I don't have access to the information that they have. I don't think anyone would be surprised if I said it does appear that perhaps Britain has not done as well as we might have done, and perhaps we responded too little, too late. But that's not for me to judge. No doubt there will be in the future time to do that. At the moment, our main concern obviously is to try and get through this. Fortunately, the death rate's coming down, and so our focus should be how are we going to ensure that our economy picks up as quickly as possible, not just in our country, but particularly with the foundation again, across the world. And how do we make sure that women's voices don't get lost in that?
Yeah.
We're not hearing enough of women's voices. And that's one of the reasons why on our website at the moment, we've been trying to give a platform to women entrepreneurs to say what they're experiencing, what help they would like. So if you go onto our website at the www.CherieBlairFoundation.org, you will see a series of cameos and videos from the various women we're working from all over the world, giving their ideas, their hopes, their aspirations, and what they feel we need for the whole world to turn this around, because this is a global crisis and a global catastrophe for the economy of the world.
It is. It's a global crisis, of course, Cherie. But in the UK, the government has been criticised, and we have to bring this up because you've been on that side of things. You have Dominic Cummings, who's been criticised for not following the rules of the government. What's your take on that?
Well, I think, thank God, this is not on my plate at the moment. I'm just concentrating on doing all I can to make sure that both my legal business and my foundation can cope with this crisis, and that we do everything that's necessary to keep our families and our employees safe. And that's the main thing that we can do. The post-mortems no doubt will come later. Your viewers will have seen for themselves and I'm sure have got their judgments on all this, which is absolutely as valid as mine are.
What do you think about Sakir Stahma as the leader of the Labour Party?
Well, of course, I'm delighted because I know Keir myself. Obviously, he was a human rights barrister, so I knew him as a barrister, and I'm very pleased that we have a leader who is doing what the job of the leader of the opposition is to do, which is to hold the government into account in a responsible and informed way. And I'm sure we'll see more of that as time comes by, as the Labour Party starts to rebuild, as it needs to, so that we can win the next election.
Were you disappointed, Cherie, that from the last election and from Jeremy Corbyn's term of leader, Labour was being called the nasty party, and from your history with it, was that disappointing about the perception?
Of course, it was disappointing, and particularly it was disappointing that we lost, but it was also particularly the way we lost, I think. And but what I see now is an absolute concerted effort to put the past behind us and to engage with the people, all the people of the UK, where they are, and to look and see that we represent their views properly.